Tez.
Welcome to the Tez Down. Welcome.
Find the Tez.
Mic check 1 2. Welcome. Welcome to the Tez Down. Party time. Welcome to the Tez Down. It is your boy. I'm Tez. How's everybody doing on this wonderful Thursday afternoon? We got a long, arduous show today. And one of the main reasons why I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it today is because our country has a bunch of issues going on. In today's episode, we are going to Tez down a situation that has arisen between a couple of celebrities. We're also going to Tez down the situation that's going on with our nation. And also, at the very beginning of the episode, we're going to tackle something that's been really hard to understand. Why are so many dating age men and women single? I'm going to look for answers. I'm going to look to the people who have them, the people who are out here. If you guys want to tap in and let me know how you feel free. But this episode is not for the weak. I'm going to say that right now off the bat. Hey, what's up, Billy? I appreciate you showing up. Hey, hopefully, if you can do me a favor when you go over there, remind Mikey and Tim that I would like for them to come through. So let's get our day going, and we're gonna start talking about this easy stuff first, and we're gonna get to the rest of it at the end of the episode. Hopefully, we have our friends join us, and hopefully they when they do come in, then we'll have them in there. But we're gonna start off with a video entitled "Why Men Stop Chasing." Let's get going with why men stop chasing.
You ever put me in a situation where you're choosing between me and somebody else, I'm gonna make it very easy for you. Choose them. Because thing about me is that I don't compete with nobody.
If you say you have an option, that means you like that option. That means you are considering that option. So women be talking about we got options. Oh, a man is the easiest thing to get. But the man y'all be talking about, you don't even want the man. Y'all don't even want to take this man serious. These men you're not attracted to these men. You don't want them. You really just wasting their time because you're not even taking them serious. You're not considering being with them for real.
If you've ever felt invisible in modern dating, I need you to hear something. You're not imagining it. And it's not your fault. But here's what no one tells you. Every year you spend not understanding why is a year you lose to a system that was never going to explain itself. You'll keep doing the right things. You'll keep getting passed over, keep wondering what's wrong with you when the answer was never about you at all. There's a game running in the background in modern dating. And if you don't see it clearly, you'll stay invisible longer than you should. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what happened. Not to make you angry, not to blame anyone. Here's what changed, and it happened faster than most people realized. In 2012, the average person spent 90 minutes a day on social media. Today, that number hit over 2.5 hours. For younger adults, it is closer to 4. That's not just a time shift. That's a complete rewiring of how people experience being wanted. Think about what that means. Every day, billions of people are plugged into platforms engineered to deliver small hits of validation. A like here, a DM there, a stranger telling you you're beautiful. These platforms don't profit from satisfaction. They profit from craving. A study from the University of Buffalo found that heavy social media users report significant low relationship commitments. Not because they found better partners, but because constant exposure to alternatives made them less satisfied with what they had. That's not a character flaw, that's a design feature. So if you've ever been with someone and felt like you were competing with 1,000 invisible objects, you weren't being paranoid.
No, I don't believe that's paranoia at all. It's paramount to understand that you're not just dealing with, oh, I've never been on online dating. Well, we know that you might not. You don't have to go on online dating to be competing with online dating. You have Twitter, you have Instagram, you have Facebook, you have Snapchat, TikTok, all of the things that funnel people through your algorithm that you see them on timelines all day. So you're telling me that the reason why you can't be happier, you can't find the guy that you like is because none of the guys that are hitting you up, that are going through your algorithm that you see on a daily basis, none of these guys qualify for what you're looking for. None of these women qualify for what you're looking for. That's ridiculous. You're telling me that for generations, people met people. They didn't travel abroad all the time. They didn't travel state to state looking for people. They didn't even leave their towns, and they were able to have successful, healthy, nurturing relationships. And now, during the age where reaching people, maintaining friendships, maintaining a connection, maintaining communication is the easiest that it's ever been. You're telling me that this is now impossible and that there's no good people out there. You're telling me that there's no one to date. There's nobody that piques your fancy. The question that I have for you is, what are you looking for? And do you think that because you see 1,000 people in 15 minutes every single day, that you're the reason why you can't find anyone is because you're looking at the wrong things? Are you telling me that? Because that's what it sounds like. So we're gonna hear a little bit more from her, and we're gonna judge it.
You were competing with an algorithm designed to make everyone feel like the next thing might be better. And that algorithm doesn't care if you're loyal. It doesn't care if you're consistent. It rewards novelty over stability, performance over presence. That's the game you've been playing. And it was rigged before you even started. Here's what it cost you while you didn't know. Years of wondering why effort didn't work. Relationships that ended and you still don't know why. The slow erosion of believing that what you offered actually matters. That's not insecurity. That's damage from playing a game no one told you the rules to.
And I just want to say thank you to everybody who participated in my dating era. But unfortunately, my dating era has come to an end. Thanks for nothing.
Let me tell you what I've seen happen to good men over the last decade. There's a type of man that was raised to believe that being dependable was enough. You worked hard, stayed faithful, and showed up consistently, he would be valued. For most of human history, that was true. Something shifted though. In an economy and endless attention, consistency became invisible. The man who texted good morning every day doesn't trigger the same dopamine spike as the man who disappears for 3 days.
Yeah. So let's take a look at that really quick. I was a guy who was texted the girl that he liked every morning. Good morning. I hope that you slept well. I had a little thing that I used to say, right? I would ask her, and I'm telling you, this was. I thought I was cooking. I would ask her. I say, "Good morning. Did you sleep like a princess, or did you sleep like an elephant?" And the basis behind it was the princess couldn't sleep on 10 mattresses as long as there was a small little pea underneath. So the princess never got to sleep. I wanted to test to see if she wanted to be cute or if she wanted to keep it real. So I'd ask her, "Did you sleep like a princess or an elephant?" Hey, Soft Rain, how you doing? You up in here today? What's up? What's up? Y'all say what's up to Conversations with Soft Rain. But I'd ask her, "Did you sleep like a princess or did you sleep like an elephant?" The ones that would say I slept like a princess, I know they didn't sleep very good or they were lying. But the ones that told me, no, I slept like an elephant last night. Slept all night. I said, good for you. You got some good sleep. That's that real beauty rest right there. But over time, you text somebody, good morning, how you doing? What's up? And they think that that's so commonplace that you're doing so. They want you to write a novel just to say good morning to them. I'm just saying good morning and what's up. I shouldn't have to write a novel for that. If you're interested, you're interested. If you're not, you're not. So that's the thing. You say good morning, or you say what's up, or how you doing? You got it. You having a good day? They don't respond. Oh, okay. I'm telling you, it's worse than what we've made it out to be. It's hard. If you're a single person out here and you're just trying to get some attention, it's hard. You're competing with everything. You're competing with celebrities. You're competing with the entire internet. What's up, Scorm? What's up, Scorm? I heard you were interviewing a fine woman by the name of Jada. She's supposed to be in here today, but I don't know if she's gonna come in, y'all. I don't know if she's gonna come in. Thanks for showing up, though. Don't say good morning. That's lazy. That's what I'm saying. How is it lazy? Hey, what's up, girl? How you doing? I don't know if she want to get interviewed, y'all, but she's in here. She's in here. I don't know if you want to get interviewed. You let me know if you want to pop on screen. I'll send you the link. Okay. So what we got right here is someone that's saying that, she's unattracted to everything. But the reason she's unattracted to everything is because she sees everything all day. So let's see.
Then suddenly shows up with intensity. Predictability, which used to mean safety, started to feel boring. And the tragedy is this: that steady man didn't change. The environment around him did. I was reading a comment on one of my videos that
Soft Rain says, don't say good morning or don't spell out GM. That's lazy. Spell it out. Say good morning. Okay, I can understand how you would say that was lazy, but don't they serve the same purpose? At the end of the day, if you're interested, right? You wouldn't lose interest over a guy because he typed in GM instead of good morning, would you? Ladies in the chat, if a guy typed in GM instead of good morning, which one do you like more and why? Like if you liked him, let's say you liked this guy, not just that he was interested in you. If you liked him and he typed out GM for the morning, or TY for thank you, or any of those things, or YW for you're welcome, are these things that you don't like? She said it's more intentional. She said she wants it spelled out. Okay, so then what do you do when he says good morning? What do you do then? What is your response? Because what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing that this is apples to oranges. This is almost one of those things where it's ticky tack. He didn't have to message you at all. What happens when he says good morning? What happens when spelling out good morning is no longer enough? What do you need afterwards? That's why I'm going to come back to these chats in a minute.
stayed with me. A man wrote, I used to think something was wrong with me. I'd be consistent. I'd communicate. I'd try to build something real. And I kept getting passed over for guys who treated it like a game. Eventually, I realized I wasn't the problem. I was just playing by rules that didn't exist anymore. That hit me because he's not alone. But here's where I have to be honest with you. Some of these steady men stayed steady in places that was never going to reward them. They kept watering dead soil and called it loyalty. They confused being patient with being passive. And the system didn't just make them invisible. Sometimes it made themselves easier to look over. That's not blame. That's the part of the truth that hurts more because it's yours to own. Research from the Pew Research Center found 63% of men under 30 describe themselves as single. That's not a small number. That's a generational shift.
Yep.
And when you dig into why, it's not that these men don't want connection. It's that many of them have learned through painful experiences that the effort doesn't match the return. So they stopped performing. They stopped auditioning. They started.
Okay. So we're talking about return on investment. So what she's saying is from the Pew Research Center that these men who have identified themselves as single, what they're saying is, I'm not giving out gargantuan effort to women anymore because the effort doesn't match the return on investment. You want me to leap tall buildings in a single bound, but you won't even give me a smooch back. And I'm not saying that it should be a physical thing. I'm just using it as an example. They're saying that they do the most and receive the least in return. And I will bear witness to this. The guy that does the most rarely ever gets the affections or the intentions of the woman he's trying to see or date. The guy who's always there, the guy who picks up his phone, the guy who texts you all the time, the guy who makes sure that you get little nice sweet nothings, the guy who sends you coffee, the guy who makes sure that you eat lunch, the guy who asks you, you need gas for your car, those types of things. Those guys are getting crapped on and they're not taking it anymore. So they're shortcutting everything. They're shortcutting everything. They're telling you we're not doing this anymore because you guys don't care anyway. And you're going to go and mortgage your entire life for a guy who doesn't really like you. You're going to mortgage your entire life. You're going to worry about the guy that doesn't care about you, the guy that is ignoring you for 3 to 4 days, the guy who in some cases puts his hands on you. You're going to make excuses about it. Well, he just comes from a troubled home. These are all things that guys are seriously fed up and tired of. These are all things that guys are fed up and tired of. Every guy that has tried his best to be the traditional male, the guy who's chivalrous, the guy who is saying good morning, the guy that opens the doors and pushes in the chairs and pays for dinner and lunch and everything else, and you've never had to open your pocketbook to be with him. That guy is so abused in today's society, and that's why you're not getting it anymore. Why? So it's like if I schedule 5 dates, and that's pushing it, right? If you schedule 5 dates as a man, the average guy. Let's not go with the handsome gentleman. Let's not go with the handsome devil. We're gonna go with the average guy. The average guy. If he gets 5 dates in a year and he's paid for 4 dates, and out of those 4 dates that he's paid for, he hasn't gotten a redate, a second date, a third date. It didn't turn into a relationship. By the time he gets to number 5, he's gonna be like, look, I'm tired of coming out of my pocket for these women. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of going out of the way and being so understanding when they can't do anything. And half the time, if they're over 30, they have children. I say it technically over half the time these days, but they have children. And so you make excuses as to why they couldn't make it to this date, or you have to we need to reschedule and all of this. And after a while, it starts to weigh on them a little bit. Right. So I understand this, right? See, this is why you needed to be in here. She said, "Not true. Some women grew some balls because men who also abuses them." See, I totally understand that, but what a lot of women are not understanding is the only people that are going to protect you from that abuse are other men. That's it. You're going to get abused by men if you don't let men protect you, and that's an uncomfortable truth that I've come to understand. There are good men that want to protect you from all the bad ones. There are good men that don't want to see anything bad happen to women. There are good men who are not over here MFing and being them all over the place. You don't see me doing that. I'm not one of those guys. I hope that every woman can be as safe and sound as possible. The thing is, you guys keep choosing to not go for that. That's boring. Oh, well, I don't feel a spark. We did the show a couple of weeks back about bad boy culture and why she goes for the bad boy. And this is an issue. She goes for the bad boy because the bad boy makes her prove herself to him. Even though it's an impossible task, she's proving herself to him every single day, and he's throwing it right back in her face, well, you didn't do enough. And so she feels that she has to prove herself again. I feel for all the women that have been hurt by guys. I really do. I feel for all the guys that have been hurt by women. I would say don't let it turn you into, a sociopath or a monster. Don't put it on anybody else. Don't try to hurt other people because somebody hurt you. I'm just saying seek out what seeks you. If ladies, I'm gonna give you a perfect example here, or perfect advice. If a guy is on the up and the majority of his life looks good, and he's doing his best at everything he does, and he's passionate, and he's got that gumption about him. He's got it. Why are you putting him through the same problems? Why are you extra testing him when he's not the one that needs to be tested? He's got the world testing him already. He's already out here battling the world, and you want to further the test? And so then when he quits, you're like, oh, well, he wasn't worth it anyway. He just quit. No, you just put him through too much. You just put him through too much. He's competing with everybody out there for everything else in life. And now you want him to compete just for little old you? I totally understand that. Well, if he wanted me, he would try harder. I understand that. But at some point, the effort becomes not worth the reward of getting you. That's a hard pill to swallow. I'll relate it to terms of work, or even vehicles, right? If I'm going to, let's say that I only made like $25 an hour, right? So in my normal 8-hour shift, we're going to call it regular guy stuff. In my normal 8-hour shift, I made $200 before taxes if I made $25 an hour. If I worked 5 days a week, then I made $1,000 a week before taxes, $4,000 a month before taxes, making 25 an hour, right? Depending on where you live, let's just say we'll keep it even. We'll take a 25% tax cut. So I'm taking home $3,000 a month after my taxes. And I want a Lamborghini. Let's say the Lamborghini cost me 80 grand. Well, there are more weeks that would cost me to get a Lamborghini than weeks in the year. And that would be me sacrificing my entire paycheck to afford this Lamborghini. So you have to ask yourself, am I going to mortgage my entire life to own a Lamborghini when I still need food, I still need clothes, I still have other bills, I still have other things that need to be paid? That's what it comes down to get some of you. Because you've been so hurt by other people, you would make someone essentially neglect the rest of their life just to get you. And that's why a lot of men, especially the ones that you call good men, are saying, no, we're done. We quit. We quit. Just be single and have a dog and, play video games with my friends online, go to work every day, and then come back to my house and live my life at my house. This is how this is happening. And I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm just speaking from the viewpoint of somebody who's already been through this. Why are you going to make me jump through hoops when you didn't make, Chuck and Ray jump through hoops? You had kids with them. You bailed this guy out. You made so many excuses for this guy. He beat you. He put hands on you. You made so many excuses from when everyone was telling you to stay away from him. But me, I didn't do nothing to you. And this is how you treat me. I'm going to quit. I want people who like me. And I think that every man and every woman should understand that if somebody doesn't like you, they're showing you that they don't like you. They're showing you that they don't like you. If you like somebody, you don't make them do that. Well, they're going to have to prove their worth. Who are you, the arbiter of my worth? Roxy says, missed the video, but Tez, you're right. Women have a tendency to pick what we want and not need, and some of us don't pick what we need in a relationship from a partner because we don't know. Sometimes we don't know because we've been so independent for so long. Sometimes it feels weird or wrong or out of place to ask and depend on a man. Okay, I can see that. I'll come back to, some of my comments on this. Let's finish this video up.
Protecting their peace instead of proving their worth. And honestly, I can't blame them. When a man realizes he's being evaluated not on who he is, but on how he compares to an infinite scroll of options, something breaks. Not his value, his willingness to keep proving it to people who won't see it anyway.
Just let them. If they want to choose something or someone over you, just let them. If they want to go weeks without talking to you, just let them. If they're okay with never seeing you again, just let them. If they're showing you who they really are and not what you perceive them to be, just let them. Let them lose you because you were never theirs.
Now, I want to be careful here because this isn't about blaming anyone. Women didn't create this system, neither did men. It was built by companies that profit from dissatisfaction.
That's my point too. This is not a system that was created by us. This is not created by men. This is not created by women. Everything that you guys are consuming, whether it be the television or even this show right here, everything that you guys are consuming is a direct result of rampant capitalism to the point that we're preying not only on your pockets, but we're preying on you as individuals. The media, the news, all the advertisements, even the very sports that you watch. Have you guys noticed that while you're watching football, you now have a particular company that has been monetizing the fact that the football was made to sell food. And they make those jokes all throughout the episode. I mean, all throughout the commercial. And there's multiple of those commercials now. And it's funny, but it's starting to be very true. That is art imitating life, but life imitating art and being a reflection of it. These dating apps, the numbers are there. I'm going to read some of these numbers to you in just a few minutes. We're going to finish her up.
Funded by venture capital, optimized by machine learning, and deployed to every phone on the planet before anyone understood what it would do to human connection. Both sides are losing. The same platform that made you feel invisible made her feel like she had infinite options. But here's what the options look like. A 2020 study on dating app behavior found that less than 1% of matches turn into actual relationships. Most messages go unanswered. Most conversations die within 3 exchanges. The illusion of abundance creates the experience of scarcity. Because when everyone looks like a possibility, no one ever becomes a priority. And here's the part that doesn't get said enough. A lot of women are just as tired of this, just as you are. They're swiping through the same void.
We got to hear her say that again. That was good. She's on here right now. Scarm. She's on here right now. She's in the comment section. She's in the comment section.
Because when everyone looks like a possibility, no one ever becomes a priority. And
When everyone looks like a possibility, no one becomes a priority. When everyone looks like a possibility, no one becomes a priority. Clip that. For real, clip that. That's a lot said in one simple sentence. When everyone looks like a possibility, no one becomes a priority. You see, people come up across your timelines, they come across your lives, they come across your pictures that you posted, you know, and you get messages, you get a ton of likes. And this is just on regular social media. And then it's worse in person when you have a group that you go out. Let's say you go out to a bar, you go out with like 4 or 5 other people, and there's all these people there every time that you go. And you see all these people all the time, and well, they're cute, and I like their style, and they have a good job, and but you know, this person, I like their beard, I like her mustache, and all that. Yeah, you heard what I said. I said it on purpose. There's so many possibilities. Well, I could do better than that. I could, if they were a little bit taller, if they were a little bit shorter, if they hit the gym for a solid 2 weeks. There's so many different possibilities here. I can't choose. Well, he doesn't make enough money for me, so I'm gonna not talk to him. He makes too much money for me. He's always working. He doesn't work enough. Look, guys, this is starting to get ridiculous. Our society is crumbling, and this is one of the main reasons why our birth rates are down. Let's let her cook.
And here's the part that doesn't get said enough. A lot of women are just as tired of this, just as you are. They're swiping through the same void, looking for something real and finding the same emptiness. The system taught everyone to shop for people like products, and products can always be returned. So when you feel like no one values consistency anymore, understand that it's not because people stop wanting it. It's because the environment makes it nearly impossible to recognize. The signal get lost in the noise, and the noise was designed to never stop. And if you're still watching this, if something in you recognizes this pattern, you might be wondering why doing the healthy thing still feels so isolating, why stepping back from chaos didn't come with relief, why protecting your peace sometimes feels like choosing to be alone. Here's why. Something has been happening quietly among men, and I think it's worth paying attention to. A lot of men have stopped chasing, not because they gave up on love, but because they realized chasing validation was costing them something more important, their peace. But let me be honest with you. Peace is not free. Choosing peace cost him dating momentum. It cost him being misunderstood by friends who think he's giving up. It cost him watching other men get chosen for performing the exact game he refused to play. It cost him nights wondering if he made the right call, and he chose it anyway. That's not passivity. That's the hardest kind of strength, the kind that no one applauds.
You look happy. Yeah, thanks. I stopped dating. You don't realize how stressful relationships are until you're out of one. Suddenly, I'm sleeping through the night. My bank account doesn't look like it's being held hostage by brunch bills. My blood pressure went back to normal. My doctor thought I started a religion or something. But now it's just me, my peace, and the freedom to watch SportsCenter. Yeah, I look happy. Of course I do. Because it turns out single life isn't lonely. It's just very quiet. And quiet is so underrated these days.
There's a quote I keep coming back to. A man who finds peace stops performing for attention. What that quote doesn't mention is what he walks through to get there. The loneliness that doesn't photograph well. The self-doubt that hits at 2 a.m. The moments where chaos at least felt like something. Peace is in the absence of one. It's wanting something real badly enough to stop accepting what isn't. Another comment that stayed with me. A man wrote, I stopped trying to prove I was worth choosing. Now I'm focused on building a life that's worth protecting. If someone wants to be part of that, they'll have to bring more than just beauty and expectations. That's not anger. That's a boundary forged into disappointment. And boundaries are healthy, but they're also lonely sometimes. The man who protects his peace isn't broken. He's evolved. But evolution doesn't mean he stopped feeling the cost. It means he decided the cost was worth paying. Peace became more attractive than potential. And once a man understands that, he stops tolerating chaos just to avoid being alone, even when alone is exactly what it feels like. So where does this leave you? If you're a man who's felt invisible, who's been passed over for someone louder, who's wondered if consistency even matters anymore, here's what I want you to know. It does. It just doesn't get rewarded by algorithms. Real connection still exists, but it doesn't happen in the attention economy. It happens in the margin, in conversations that don't have a comment section. The men I see building real relationships aren't the ones who figured out how to game the system. They're the ones who opted out of it. They meet people through shared interests, through communities, through actual proximity instead of infinite scrolls. They stopped asking, how do I stand out? And started asking, where do I actually belong? And here's the truth that will save you years of frustration. You don't need to be chosen by everyone. You need to be seen by one person who values what you actually offer.
Everybody thinks they have so many options now. Because our phones keep us surrounded by faces, followers, and flattery, we confuse attention with availability. But just because somebody likes your picture doesn't mean that they could love your soul. And just because they reply to your story doesn't mean that they're ready for your story. You call them options, but most of them are just distractions. Imagine this. You're standing in a store surrounded by beautiful clothes. Everywhere you look, you want everything you see. You would wear all of it. It's amazing. But guess what? Only one of those items actually fits you. The rest only look good on the hanger. Not every hay has a future in it because real options require connection, character, and commitment. And those aren't in your DMs. Those are built through discipline.
The illusion of options made people forget that love isn't about having the most choices. It's about making one choice and honoring it. But here's the part I need you to sit with. You were never the problem. The system that made you feel invisible was. And the fact that you chose peace over chaos, standard over desperation, self-respect over approval, that's not something to be ashamed of. That's something to be proud of. The pride isn't the
Every day I see more men who are more likely to never show off or let anyone meet someone that they're dating for a few reasons. Reason number one, if I show someone I'm dating, they're going to try to make a connection with them. It's already taken me a long enough time to be able to build a connection with this person in this society. Why am I trying to share it with everyone else? Number two, there's a possibility that I have some unfavorable things about me that may have happened or may not have happened. And they might not even be truly unfavorable, but everyone's got to put a spin on a story. And unfortunately, not hearing it from the source could taint her opinion of me. Not hearing it from the source could make her like me a little bit less. And let me tell you, in some situations, she might not like you that much. In some situations, he might not like you that much. So going on a system that is designed to use people as advertisements and then advertising your new relationship is probably one of the worst ideas that you could have. It doesn't deter people. If anything, it makes them more determined. And every time that you guys get into an argument and you post about it, or you talk about it, or you make a TikTok video about it, or you post a reel, or you reshare something that some other heartbroken person posted, you're just letting everyone know that you're vulnerable. And vulnerability means that you're an easier target for predators. A predator doesn't mean just somebody that's willing to take advantage of you in a bad way. They might want to take advantage of you for their own personal gain. They might want to take advantage of your feelings. They want to take advantage of your vulnerability. Girl, girl, you knew that he wasn't perfect. Talk about a statement that it couldn't be more overblown. Nobody's perfect. But for her to point it out to you that nobody's perfect, it just makes you think, well, maybe I can do better than him. He's already got 2 strikes against him when he started. Don't let him have rich, powerful friends. It makes it even worse. Oh, you knew John. Yeah, John's been a hard worker his entire life, never having any time for anything but me. I'm going to Turks and Caicos next week. Wouldn't you like to do that? There comes a time in everybody's life where they stop competing with the Joneses and they just start trying to be themselves. The minute you start to be yourself and you stop competing with the Joneses, you will enjoy your life more than anything else. I'm not posting pictures to show off who I'm dating, who I went on a date with, the food, all of that. You don't get to see that. That is for that person and that person only. It makes it more exclusive. It makes it more special. And it has so much more meaning when I shared an intimate moment with one person, the person who it was intended for. No one else needs to know about this. Just me and you.
Finish line. Understanding why you've been invisible doesn't make you visible. Clarity without movement just turns into another place to hide. At some point, you have to decide whether peace is a season or a permanent address, whether you step back to heal or whether you stayed back because it felt safer than risking disappointment again. Because here's an uncomfortable truth. You can understand the system perfectly and still waste years waiting in the wrong places. The men who actually change their outcomes don't go back to competing for attention. They change environments. They change proximity. They change who gets access to them. And they stop confusing patience with progress. The right person won't need you to perform, but they also can't choose you if you're standing in rooms where substance doesn't register. You already know you aren't the problem. Now comes the harder part. Choosing where to show up, choosing who to stop auditioning for, and choosing whether peace is protecting your future or quietly postponing it. It's been your girl, Remy Renee here. I'll see you guys in my next video.
You guys show some love to Remy Renee. She is cooking. She's got it down pat. You know, one of the main things.
Reporting live from Ibis Club in Atlanta for Comedy Hub News. I'm Jeff.
Well, yeah, not yet. One of the main things that I want everyone to take away from this is that when you're dating and when you're looking to have, you know, even some attention from somebody, you cannot treat this as a job interview. Guess what? They maybe didn't come their best that day. Maybe they weren't the best version of themselves today. You were not privileged to know everything about them when they got there. This is your first appearance with somebody. You really expect for them to go all out the first time they see you? And that's on both sides, men and women. Do you really expect them to go all out? Do you really expect them to not be nervous? You can be confident and still be nervous around somebody or not know what to say. You guys don't know each other. If you have a shared interest, talk about your shared interest. If the conversation's lulling, change the subject. There are ways to get past this. If you're just interested in the physical, then state that. Hey, I'm just interested in a physical relationship, girl. You know, that's where I'm at right now. If you're willing to accept it, I might be open to change it later, but there's no promises. How many people can say that and still get the right results? Roxy said, right, live in the moment and stop living for social approval. Enjoy the experience with the people you allow in your life. Know your worth and not what society likes. Tristan's in the building. What's up, Tristan? It's really good to see you back in all these streams, man. You know, your presence was desired and missed. Passport Scope. She cooking. She is cooking, Passport Scope. She's cooking. You know what I'm saying? Roxy said, possibilities always win because they're easier and less effort can be applied. That's why no one becomes a priority, just my opinion. So I purvey and survey all of social interactions on the internet. And I scroll through random people every day, not to make connections with them, but to see how they're interacting with other people. One of the best places to do that is on TikTok. You'll see how many different people come into their room. In some places, you have people who are getting 200, 300 people who are coming in, saying hello, good morning. And in some cases, it's a genuine connection with those people that are coming in there. They're supporters. But in most cases, it's not genuine at all. It's, hey, you look cute. And she says, thank you for you looking cute. Or she says, hey, dude, you got it going on. And he's just like, yeah, girl, you know, I'm that guy. I'm that man. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and drop some likes and some coins in the comments. Yeah, go ahead. Super chat me. You know, these are not meaningful connections with people. You're not having real conversations. All you're seeing is their avatars on their worst or best behavior at whatever moment they were feeling, especially if it's late at night on the internet. Everybody got that H word going for them. Everybody, it's a little bit lonely when it's cold outside. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to keep it real. They don't want to keep it real and tell you like, oh, I'm just lonely and I want some attention. And guess what? You're on here. I'm giving you attention. Give it back. Tristan. Conversations with Sovereign says she wants to give you the link for tonight in case you can stop in. If not, just send her an email. The email is at conversations@sovereign@gmail.com, y'all. Rain, go ahead and put it in the comment section for him. You can go ahead and do that. Put that in the comment section for Tristan. And I just want to leave it at this. You know, I thought we might have been able to get an interview, but no, not today. Maybe another day. I'm gonna try to get her to come up here, y'all. That is a wonderful individual that can give you some insight on a couple of different things in life, and especially on the internet side of things. But I just got to say it, like, if people are showing you genuine attention, and like, look, ladies, I'm gonna speak directly to you this time, ladies. You can vet a guy who's been giving you attention. Stop believing the hype. You can vet him. Look what his life looks like. When he talks to you, look at what he talks about. Look at the things that he says. And stop asking men to stop being men. They all want sex. Every single man wants sex. Does that mean that that's the only thing that he cares about? No, but he wants it. If you look at a man and a man says, I don't want sex, he is lying, girl. Get rid of that dude. He's the biggest liar in the world. They all want it. They all want to get touched on and touch you. Every single last one of them. It's built into the DNA. Does that mean to go through any nefarious reasons? No, it doesn't mean none of that. Doesn't mean put up with any of their BS or any of their garbage. It just means vet their life. This person's hardworking. This person is out there on their grind. They're taking care of their business. They're probably kind of cute to you anyway. Why are you piecemealing the guy just because you got hurt by, that jackass that you left? Why? You're wasting everyone's time, including your own. And guess what? Contrary to popular belief, the longer you wait, the worse it gets. I've seen guys who had all the right intentions for a woman get dicked around by her for months or even years. Wouldn't let it happen to me though, but for months or even years. And then when he ends up catching on to her, he doesn't want her anymore. It's bad ROI. That's what it's all. Return on investment, bad ROI. I do have something that I want to bring up and show. Let's see if I can find it beforehand, but if I don't find it, then I won't post it. But it's just, I want to see everybody happy. I really do. Do I think it's possible to see everyone happy? No. But it's something that I want. I want to see people living these beautiful lives and getting along with people and having good relationships. And it makes it kind of hard to do when this is what happens all day. Where is it at? Where is that? Yeah, I don't know if I have it on here, but I wanted to bring it up from Daphne. Yeah, I can't. This is not one of the ones that I want from that. Okay, yeah, I can't. Okay, I'll just show this. So this is a little thing from Daphne, the Queen of Accountability. I'll read it to you guys and then we'll move on. It's a message that she commented on. It says, the man asked this woman that he's been seeing. He said, is it okay if you pay on the next meet? She said, what do you mean? He said, I paid the last few times, and looking at my statement, I spent over $600 just on dates last month. She said, okay, and he said, I'm just trying to keep it balanced. I paid the last few times and dropped over 600 last month alone. It would be nice if you treated me sometimes too. And she said, treat you? You sound like a diva. Are you playing with me? And he said, I'm being real. I've been the one paying every time. Last month alone, I spent over $600. I'm not asking for much. That you need to start picking up the tab for sometimes too, especially if she's the one that's picking the places. So Daphne said she was clearly expecting him to be her personal ATM. All he asked for was reciprocation, but she tried to call him broke. I see nothing wrong with asking someone to pay sometimes. I tell my clients to expect the same energy. The moment he brought up her paying, she suddenly got busy until he played her game and won. Thoughts? Was he wrong? So, there was way more to that. And this is the one that I wanted to put in there. This is the one. Okay. So we'll wait to restart this. It's not bad to ask someone to reciprocate for you. It's not bad to ask them to put in a little bit of effort and show a little bit of effort to you the way that you're showing to them. And so what happens is, if you're a guy and you like this, if you say you like this guy and he's putting in all this effort for you, and then he says, hey, dating you is expensive. Your response being, I know, is not the right response. It's okay. If you don't want to pay, then you should say back to him, hey, I'm traditional. I don't believe in women paying for dates at all, which is completely okay to say as a woman. say, hey, I don't believe in paying for dates at all, but can we do something less expensive or more meaningful? Let's go on some walks sometimes. Let's get drinks sometimes. Something that'll cost you, $12, $13 and not 150 every time you see me. Like if you are expecting somebody to break the bank for you every time you see them, you're not dating them for them. And that's okay to not it's okay to date somebody and not want them, but to want their money. But you have to be honest about it. If you're the sucker of a guy that keeps spending all this money on a chick that's not giving you reciprocal energy, that's on you, bro. But at the end of the day, you should be able to speak up and say something like, or just lead by example. There's a lot that we could talk about here. I'm going to let this part finish up with this Jennifer Lopez video, and then we're going to move on to something that's a little bit more not good.
Whatever you give them, right? Like you give us a bag of groceries, we give you a 5-course meal. You give us a house, we give you a home. You give us a little something, maybe we give you a baby 9 months later. We multiply. But if you give us any grief, we'll give you 1,000 fucking headaches. That's true too. Hey, am I right? Because we do so much for you. We do so much. We dote over you. We do all the things for you. And all we want is that little bit of sugar in return. That's it. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Why are you looking at me like that? What? You think that you do a lot too? Yes, you do. Guys do a lot. I'm not trying to take that away from you. You do so much. But we do so much more. We do all the things.
Ooh. Okay, I'm going to read this. This is the words of Daphne Sutton, the queen of accountability. She says, Jennifer Lopez recently told women that they're the prize and that women do more than men. The problem is not confidence, it's credibility. If a man with 4 failed marriages and a long list of failed relationships said this, he would be dragged endlessly. There'd be no grace, no praise. No, he's just speaking his truth. Advice requires results. Experience alone does not qualify someone as a guide. When every relationship ends, including going back to the same man and still ending in divorce, at some point accountability has to replace slogans. The common denominator matters. Telling women they're inherently better than men doesn't create healthy relationships. It creates entitlement, contempt, and unrealistic expectations. That mindset doesn't attract partnerships, it replaces it. The kind of false empowerment keeps women single, frustrated, and chasing validation instead of building mutual respect. And eventually, when the applause fades and the reality sets in, many find themselves thirst trapping for attention rather than experiencing real intimacy. Confidence is powerful. Superiority is destructive. And no amount of celebrity or applause can replace the truth when you finally look in the mirror. She said, you give us marriage, we give you divorce. So I'm going to, comment on a little bit. I'm not saying anything bad about women here. I'm saying that the advice that was given here is bad advice on both ends. How are you going to have a mutual partnership or, a relationship if you think that you're inherently superior than the person that you're dating? Now, are men better at some things than women? Yeah. Are women better at some things than men? Yeah. That's called symbiosis. A symbiotic relationship is probably one of the best relationships you have. I serve my purpose, you serve yours, so our purposes get met. But if you're so much better than me, then I'm worshiping you. All the money that I'm dropping at your feet, I'm worshiping you. If I'm so much better than you, then you're worshiping me. At some point, we have to stop being these, isolated narcissists that we are turning into as a society. Everybody's got their own mirror in their hand, the black mirror, as it's called. And it never says that you did anything wrong. It never says that anything is wrong with you. It always says that you can do whatever and you can be whatever and you don't need anybody and all this garbage. People need people. Men need women, women need men, and we need to get together to talk to each other about it. And hey, at the end of the day, this is what's happening. The men who have woken up are done. The men who have woken up have quit. The rat race game of trying to find a mate or trying to find a suitable wife, a mother for our children, those days are over. Are y'all looking for people to finance you, or are you looking for husbands? Two completely different things. I will say this. The man who is a husband and the man who is looking for a wife are two different people. The woman who is looking for a husband or the woman who is a wife is two different people. You guys take it the way you want to take it before we move on to our next segment. Do I have anybody in the comments with any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, we're going to move forward without incident. Oh, that's the only time y'all got. So in the next segment of today, we're gonna dive in on what's going on when you fail. What happens when you fail? So I'm going to give you a little bit of context. T.I. recently hosted a comedy special, and Ari Spears is a entertainment celebrity who also does comedy, and this is what he had to take on it. Wow. So you guys didn't even get to hear any of that because it took away from the screen. I'm gonna put it back up there. There we go.
For many Negro spirituals. Yeah.
T.I.'s venture into comedy has become well documented after the Grammy Award-winning rapper would make a major shift to start a career in telling jokes. Now, his attempts at becoming a full-time comedian dates back to 2022, where things would quickly start off bad after he was filmed being booed on stage during a comedy show in Brooklyn, New York.
Kids, I obviously don't know who the fuck I am. I got one. His name's King. I put up my college fund money for Major. I had to put up bond money for King. I'm really worried about this nigga. You dig what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you a piece of advice. Please don't name your son King, because the shit don't work out with it. You don't mean King like the next King. You nigga mean now, nigga. I'm gonna choke spot with the neck. I believe I know why. You see, a while ago, he was about 10, 11 years old, man. I think that's where the animosity started. The nigga walks in, caught me slamming his mom. You hear me? Nailing his mom. We ain't been the same since.
T.I., what's wrong with you, man? Why would you say something like that? T.I., I'm not gonna replay it, y'all, but that was out of bounds, in my opinion. I would boo him too.
Goddamn.
For many veteran comedians, T.I.'s pursuit in comedy would not be welcomed due to several reasons. One reason was his original lack of understanding comedy etiquette when he first started. Now, heckling a comedian or crashing another comedian's performance is a big no in comedy because the stage is considered as a sacred space for the craft and should be respected at all times. So literally right around the time when he was booed on stage, T.I. would end up heckling a female comedian and host in Atlanta while crashing her performance after taking issues with jokes she made about him and his wife, Tiny.
Don't play with me back there.
I'm not playing with you. See, now you're getting misunderstood. This is not a rap battle. And be clear, if I want to make jokes about something, I'll make jokes about something. Absolutely.
Hey, that fake hug, like, yeah, that's a violation right there. Don't come up to me hugging me when you just came in my face like that. Come on, T.I. We didn't know this part of you, man. You better than this, supposedly. Come on. Shorty standing her ground, though. She said, "This is not a rap battle, sir. I am a comedian. I am doing my set."
You see, this moment would upset many comedians who would know that this was a huge violation. Now, despite this very rough start, T.I. has since moved on and has continued his career in comedy by touring with several comedians as they call themselves Haha Mafia. Now, in December, just before the year would end, T.I., donning a similar red leather outfit like Eddie Murphy's Delirious, has released his first ever comedy special entitled Cheaper Than Therapy. In the teaser, T.I. would address being a rapper, now comedian, one of his sons, and marriage.
Shout out to everybody about tickets thinking there was gonna be some songs performed. Not today. There's under my goddamn comment talking about you need to do something with that boy. Bitch, I'm doing the best I mother. Hey, do you want to know how I make my beautiful, beloved, filthy rich wife? I hop fresh out the passenger side of my best friend's ride. Walk right up on and say, hey baby, how about me and you get to doing some things? I'm so God of abundance. All you got to do is believe. Come on now.
With being the businessman he is, he has not released a special on any major streaming platforms and instead has opted to release a special independently on his own website called tipaintfunny.com, which appears to be his way of directly confronting a large part of hate he's received since wanting to be a comedian. Now, after time has gone by since the special's release, clips are now circulating online, and unfortunately, some of the cringier moments from the special have taken over the headlines. In particular, a TikToker would upload a moment from the special and label it T.I. bombs on stage, as he would discuss rapper Young Thug's criminal case. Things do appear to have got awkward for Tip when his joke would be met with silence in the room.
The man was fighting a Rico. I'm sorry, hey, white people, Young Thug is a rapper.
Hey, mind you, this is in Atlanta, probably the one place you really don't want to talk about these people at.
He from Cleveland Avenue. His name don't sound like much, you know what I'm saying? But he's held in high regard within the community. He's a national treasure. All right, yes. Responsible for many Negro spirituals.
Now, over in the comment section, many would continue the criticism towards T.I. One user would write, "I would have started rapping." Another would say, "This gotta be AI." While another would comment, "This is barbershop funny, not big stage, pay for tickets to go see funny." Now, to his defense, a man would say he was there during the show and would go on to blame editing. He would write, "Edited. It wasn't like that. I was there. Y'all need to stop the madness. He's better than you think. He's no Dave Chappelle, but he's gotten 10 times better since when he first started." Now,
I'm not really sure why T.I. wanted to be a comedian in the first place. I digress.
interesting enough, one user would simply share a picture of Ari Spears, referring to Spears' criticism he has given T.I. becoming a comedian. A week before the release of this special, Spears would reshare an interview moment of T.I. addressing hate.
When you started doing stand-up, I mean, there was a bunch of ruffles in the stand-up community, as you probably knew.
But why wouldn't I be afforded the same peace of mind, tranquility, and the same therapeutic release as you guys are afforded?
Well, that was your first problem, is expectation. You expect people to just digest and take in and pay for anything you do. Yeah, you were good at acting and you were good at rapping, but not too many people really want to see the comedic side of you, apparently, and you're taking it personally.
Then I made more sacrifices than most comedians have made. I turned my back on six-figure opportunities to go and perform and do music to do comedy.
Oh, wow.
How many comedians would say no to a six-figure opportunity so they could go and do comedy? How many of you love it that much? I'll wait.
For his caption, Spears would write, "It's called humility. Once you're entering a space that is new to you, you have to approach it with humility, especially when there are people of greatness within the art form to whom you can learn from." T.I. approaches the comedy game with the same bravado and arrogance to which he has succeeded in the rap game. Yes, you have to be confident in everything you attempt to do, but there's a thin line between confident and arrogant, and the great ones can tell the difference. Humble yourself. You're not there yet. There's levels to the shit. And you turning down six figures is not a poignant point. You don't need that money. That's why you turned it down. Now, T.I. has yet to appear to have publicly responded back to Spears' criticism, as just 4 months ago, while speaking on the Joe and Jada podcast, Spears would share those same issues with T.I. doing comedy after Fat Joe would express he thought T.I. was pretty funny.
I saw T.I. Do some comedy. He was actually pretty good. Your opinion. It's your opinion. My opinion. But the comedy community will tell you otherwise. There's a problem. Mm-hmm. If you're going to step into another genre, you got to humble yourself. T.I. approaches comedy with the same bravado he approaches rap. That's a different aesthetic.
Now, after the release of this special, it does appear that there are others that are like Fat Joe, as several people.
Yeah, you got to agree with Ari Spears. He's a successful comedian, and you can't go into somebody's place and start pissing off the people that were already there.
Have come to T.I.'s defense. A part of those who have watched the new special, a few users on X would express that they found the new special funny. A user would write, "I really enjoyed that T.I. comedy special. For it being his first time, he really did his thing." So let's talk about it more in the comments below. Do you agree with Ari Spears that T.I.'s over?
I mean, I feel like he got special grace. I feel like he got special grace because he's T.I. Me personally, I didn't think most of those jokes were funny. I thought there was one that almost got a chuckle out of me, but you know, the one about him slamming his kid's mom, and that's why his kid is all messed up and getting in trouble all the time, and comparing his children. He drops $150,000 for one kid to go to school. He has to drop another $150,000 for one kid to bail him out of jail. Like, those are not good jokes. That's not good jokes at all. That is you talking about your failure as a parent, and you shouldn't put that on your children. You definitely shouldn't think that just because you are a celebrity already and you were a great actor and you were a great rapper and one of the greatest of all time at one thing that's gonna parlay and change into. If I was you don't get to be the greatest of one thing and then automatically think that just because I was great at that, I'm gonna be great at this. Look how many people who have failed in their second endeavors. The first year of Tom Brady commentating on sports was dreadful. He got better as time went along, but nobody would put him in the same league as John Madden. Now this year, he's much better. he's on par with Joe Buck right now. And I know that's not saying very much, but it is saying a lot. You know, and I gotta say it, I still take Joe Buck over listening to Tom. No offense, Tom. You know, we like you. But that's just how it goes. So guys, this last section of the show is gonna be if you guys are sensitive, I'll see you later. If you're not sensitive and you want to know what's going on right now and how we see things, then this is the right place for you. I have to talk about this, and I didn't think that I was going to talk about this today or wanted to talk about this, but I have to talk about this, and I'd be doing my community a disservice. I'll be doing you guys a disservice if I ignore the things that were true in this life. So we're gonna you know we're gonna parlay this into something else, but we're gonna watch a video and then we're gonna talk about it. All right, let's go. This is what happened yesterday.
You can see the vehicle there. That's law enforcement pulling up in the pickup.
And it is the Honda Pilot that we should be focused on here. It's about a purplish reddish color here. So let's
See
take a
that
look.
agent walking up. And then there's another agent. I don't know if you can see that one right there.
Yep, three.
It's not the best video.
Get the fuck out of our neighborhood.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my fucking god! What the fuck? What the fuck? You just fucking, what the fuck did you do? You are fucking criminals! You're fucking criminals! What the fuck? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? You are fucking insane!
I don't know how in this country that we live in right now that regular citizens are tolerating this without going, look, guys, protesting is not what anybody needs to be doing right now. You guys need to be going and to your congressperson and submitting forms to them. That's what you need to be doing. Standing outside a building yelling with signs is not where it's at. You know what I'm saying? This is what the secretaries had to say. You guys saw the video yourselves. This is what Secretary Kristi Noem, Thirsty Noem as we call her, had to say. And you guys tell me if she's telling the truth or not.
About a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened, it was our ICE officers were out in enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day. These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We're working with the Department of Justice to prosecute them as such. We will continue to protect our ICE officers and in cooperation with other law enforcement agencies as well. You've seen me in the last couple of days deploy over 2,000 more officers to the Minneapolis area. And in the last 2 days, we've arrested hundreds and hundreds of dangerous criminals, not just fraudsters who stole from the American people billions of dollars and put it in their pockets and enriched their friends from overseas and themselves, but also individuals who committed acts of murder and rape and trafficking and drug exploitation and child exploitation.
So, I
Less
have
than
a
a week
question.
before
I got a
Congresswoman.
question, guys. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see? Did you guys see someone who was a domestic terrorist attacking ICE? Hey, you know what? Let's find out. Let's play it again.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my fucking god! What the fuck?
Is this person a domestic terrorist?
Get the fuck out of our neighborhood.
Did she ram somebody? No.
What the fuck? Dude, what the fuck?
It's pretty uncomfortable to even think about. It's pretty uncomfortable to talk about, too. This woman was a mom that just dropped off her kid. She was going through traffic, and you had all these unmarked cars, random vehicles, Nissan Rogue, Nissan Titan, a couple of minivans, no license plates on them. That wasn't a traffic stop. A traffic stop, you have to be marked. Number one, you have to be able to see that this is a police officer. They have to identify themselves. And on top of that, if you weren't suspected of doing, I don't know, anything reasonable doubt, then that's not how you stop somebody. He ran up to her car, started pulling on the door handle, putting his hand inside the car. The other one decided to just start shooting. She was turned completely away. There was no danger of anybody getting hit, hurt. They said the guy got ran over and hospitalized. That's what they originally said in the report. Did you see anybody ran over? Did you see anybody hospitalized? I didn't. I saw a lady that got shot 3 times at point blank range by an untrained officer. 3 to 4 weeks is how much how much training that ICE officers get. They get less training than municipal police. ICE officers are not municipal police. They don't have any jurisdiction for regular traffic in the United States. They don't. Yeah, yes, he knows everything. Don't you? I don't know who you are or what you're talking about. Bobby FAFO. Okay, yeah. I mean, what are they finding out? What are they finding out? Are we finding out that our government lies? That's what it sounds like. It sounds like we're finding out that our government lies. That's what you're talking about. That's what she said, right? She said it was an act of domestic terrorism, that this person was a domestic terrorist. She said this before they even knew anything about the person. Tell me how that works. You tell me how that works. Now let's do it again. Go ahead.
Shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened, it was our ICE officers were out in enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those
That's not
surrounding them
true.
and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted.
Let me ask you a question, Blam. Wham, what's their job? What's their job? Are they municipal police? Are they municipal police? Are they? Is that your jurisdiction to pull over random people? White ladies? What crime was she suspected of?
Quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day. These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We're working with the Department of Justice to prosecute them as such. We will.
In Minneapolis, a woman dead after being shot by an immigrations and customs enforcement officers.
Oh, immigrations and customs. That's their job, right? Their job is immigration and customs. What did she have to do with that? In Minneapolis, in the winter. A Nissan Titan doesn't get stuck in the snow. They weren't pushing their vehicles out of the snow. He ran up on her vehicle, which is against the law. It's de-escalation. Read the laws on de-escalation of force. Read the guidelines on escalation of force. Guidelines on force when you're a uniformed officer, any kind of officer in this country. Read the guidelines. Was there imminent, immediate danger that she posed? Was there an imminent threat that she posed to them? Was there? Now you guys are quiet now. What imminent danger or threat did she pose to 5 ICE officers who stepped willingly in front of the vehicle that when you didn't have to do that? Any officer would know to not step in front of anybody's vehicle or directly behind it. There was no Miranda rights that were read. Since when are these people the judge, jury, and executioner in our country? I'm blind. Okay, well, let's just watch some more video then, since I'm the one that's blind.
It is one of the more recent cities of late targeted by the Trump administration's sweeping immigration crackdown. There were protests after the shooting. It happened about a mile from where George Floyd was killed by police in 2020. Our Washington correspondent, Jackie DeFusco, is live with more details and reaction from the administration. Jackie?
Hey, Dan, good evening. We know that a driver was shot and killed today by an ICE agent in a residential neighborhood in Minneapolis. And already vastly different narratives are emerging about what exactly went down. So here's what we know so far. We reviewed a series of social media videos from bystanders from several angles. Here's one of them showing an officer approaching an SUV stopped in the middle of the road. The officer tells the driver to open the door, then grabs the handle. That's when the car starts to move forward towards another ICE officer who, as you heard there, fired at least 2 shots. Then the SUV swerves off, crashes to a stop. This incident now being investigated by state and federal authorities. Here is how Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem described what unfolded earlier today, followed by Minneapolis Mayor Jacob.
This is an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is.
The officer was hit by the vehicle and hospitalized, but has since been released, according to the Trump administration. On Truth Social earlier, President Trump added this, quote, "The reason these incidents are happening is because the radical left is threatening, assaulting, and targeting our law enforcement officers and ICE agents on a daily basis." Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz, however, pointed the finger at the Trump administration, saying their policies have created an environment of fear and increased the risk of something like this happening. Tensions in Minneapolis were already high ahead of the shooting after more than 2,000 ICE officers were deployed to ramp up immigration.
Is this policing to you? Am I blind? Am I blind? Is this policing to you? Does this look like what policing does? Let's slow this down so you can tell me that I'm blind again. Let's slow this down so you can tell me that I'm blind again. Look at what they're doing to people.
Of fear and increase the risk of
No
something like
identification.
this
All their
happening.
face are masked.
Tensions in Minneapolis were
Look at this.
already high ahead of the shooting after more than 2,000 ICE officers were deployed
Yeah.
to ramp up
Escalation of
immigration
force.
enforcement in the
Escalation of
city.
force.
And tonight, Secretary Noem
Who's
says
threatening
those
them?
agents aren't going anywhere, that operation will continue. Also tonight, Governor Walz of Minnesota is urging protesters to do so peacefully. As you saw earlier, those demonstrations have been building up following the shooting. And the governor also says that he has issued.
Bobby, since you're in here, Bobby, I'm the blind one. I'm the blind one. Trying to tell me, you trying to tell me about it when we see what happened on screen. You're not going to be able to rewrite this narrative. You're not going to be able to. I'm not standing for that. There's no one. There's no one. Not at all. What we're really dealing with is a secret state police force. What does that sound like? AKA the immigrant Jews. Broad authority, meaning you don't need to check in with the regular police who are normally in the community to do whatever you want to do. Hmm. Hmm. No trials. Once again, no due process for people in America. This woman didn't have due process. She was an American citizen. She was not an immigrant. She was an American citizen. No due process. She got executed. Oh yeah. Okay. So we're drawing some parallels here, right? Did anybody see that anyone that was being abused? Did anybody see anybody that was being pushed in the wrong way? Did anybody see anybody acting in ways that they probably shouldn't be acting? Did anybody see that, or was I the only one? Am I the only person that sees them being able to do whatever they want, whenever they want? Am I the only person that sees this? Am I the only one? Am I the only one? What are those people doing to escalate the violence against these so-called officers? Am I the only person that sees it? I could pull up 50 videos like this. This is not even the only one. I could pull up 50 videos like this. 50. 50. It's disgusting. When you're an American, you have due process, which means that you can be arrested if probable cause is shown to arrest you. You can be arrested on suspicion. You can be detained on suspicion of breaking the law, but you have to see a judge. You have to be arraigned. No one gets to carry out a sentence in the middle of the street on you. If she was going to harm someone, she had every right to harm them. Does that mean that they were going to? No, it wasn't. Look at the way the wheels were turned. Look at where she was driving. Look at where she was going. She was ordered to leave, so she did. And that's what happens when you do it. It doesn't matter. They're giving you a bunch of directions. And I can say this as confident as a black man in this country that there are many times when they give us a bunch of directions that none of us can follow, and that's what happens. Our lives are ended. Trisha said, there is no order with this operation. Roxy said, wow, this breaks my heart that society has come to this. False narrative and lies to justify a top reason why I stopped watching the news a very long time ago. Roxy said, you can't tell me that the crime rate is down in our area if we have 15 GSWs just come in the last week alone. I could confidently state this as being a witness from working in the ER. Said that unfortunately was only the beginning of one. The weather got nice this summer, so it was really probably around springtime. She said, cold didn't matter here. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Color didn't matter here. No, like I said, you are so stupid. You are an idiot. I rarely ever attack a commenter, but you are an idiot. I just showed you irrefutable evidence that what these people are doing is wrong, and you still want to say, play stupid games, win stupid prizes? There is a law in this country. There is order in this country. We have municipal police for a reason. We have forest preserve police. We have state security officers. All of these people undergo a tremendous amount of training and certification to be able to do their jobs. Even mall cops, even TSAs, school agents, all of these people go through so much to do their jobs. These people are off the street. These people are off the street. These people are off the street. They're coming in here off the street, untrained, doing stupid things like discharging their weapons in the crowds, antagonizing crowds, putting their hands on people. That's not what you do. And this is why the federal government has picked up this case, and this is why the federal government, because a federal law was broken by a federal official. You don't believe me? Use your Google. Use your internet. This is ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense at all. I don't understand why, as an American citizen, you would want this as part of your life. I don't understand it one bit. How can you say that you're an American citizen if you want to get rid of due process? That's our Constitution.
And to make sure that there is an investigation that is conducted in full. But what we do know is that a 37-year-old woman is dead and that she was shot by ICE. We've dreaded this moment since the early stages of this ICE presence in Minneapolis.
This is the governor. Mayor, sorry, this is the mayor. This is the mayor. The mayor is telling you this. These are the chiefs of police, the fire department, and civil servants behind him. And you're telling me that we're against the government? This is the government. This is the government of that place. Each state has their own sovereignty to put out and mete out laws. Each state does. Every single one of them. Every single one of the state has their own governments to deal with stuff. And these people who are telling you that we are sworn in officials, this is their careers, that they're telling you that this is wrong, and you still want to say something about it? You still want to say something about it? Okay, yeah, you're in my comment section watching me and watching him, and he's in a government office right now as the mayor of an entire city. That's the chief of police back there. You could disrespect the chief of police? You're disrespecting the chief of police. You don't like law and order. You're a jackass. You don't like the Constitution? You leave the country. Some of us put these colors on our back and fought for this country. Some of us put these colors on our back to make sure that the American people were free each and every day. Obviously, you weren't one of them. You don't want to keep up with the Constitution, the one thing that keeps us all free? What would you rather have? What would you rather have? I just showed you what happened in another place where the same type of action was, where they gave an entire group of people policing powers over everybody, even more than the police that already existed. I already showed you what happened then. Do you want this to happen again? Do you want this to happen to any of us? Just say yeah. Just say you're a Nazi. I don't care. Say it. Say it. You have freedom of speech in this country. Speak up. Speak up. You want this to happen? Go for it. You want this to happen? You do it. You do it. You be one of them. Stop hiding behind the comment section.
Not only is this a concern that we've had internally, we've been talking about it. They are not here to cause safety in this city. What they are doing...
Again, the chief of police is standing right behind him, and he is agreeing with this. The person who really keeps it. And I have my own beef. I have my own beef with how they run things, but you're starting to see something here. This is the same police force that was a part of the killing of George Floyd. It's the same one. I'm not on anybody's side here. I'm telling you this is the same one. So pick a side. Who was right? Are the police right? Is ICE right? Who's right, Bobby? This looks like a bunch of infighting to me, doesn't it? Now you're telling me that I'm the crazy one. I just point this out to you. That's the same police who you guys said were just doing their jobs. So what are they doing now? Are they still just doing their jobs? Are they still just doing their jobs? Whose side are you really on? Oh, pancake ass B.
Is not to provide safety in America. What they are doing is causing chaos and distrust. They're ripping families apart. They're sowing chaos on our streets. And in this case, quite literally killing people. So they are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed. As soon as it happened and we learned of the incident, we had several priorities. The first, of course, was to get the victim to the hospital and to get care as soon as possible. To the family, I'm so deeply sorry. There's nothing that I can say right now that's going to make
blocking the EMTs for coming through.
Friends of the
ICE
victim
blocked
feel any
the
better.
EMTs.
There were, I believe, 2 Minneapolis police officers that responded and were in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. The second was to get ICE off of the scene. There were dozens, if not hundreds, of ICE and federal officers that were there at the time. Having them there was only causing more chaos. Having them there was only making a difficult situation even more problematic, and one that, yes, they created themselves. There's little I can say, again, that'll make this situation better, but I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart. Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead. That's on you. And it's also on you to leave. It's on you to make sure that further damage, further loss of life and injury is not done.
And I'm gonna stop it right there and leave it at this. The same people that said that the Minneapolis Police Department was doing their jobs are now the same people that are saying that the Minneapolis Police Department are not doing their jobs, that the mayor is not doing his jobs. You need to pick a side, because you don't look like you actually care about justice. You don't look like you actually care about the Constitution, and you don't look like you give a crap about American citizens. This lady was an American citizen who died. This was not an illegal alien, immigrant, or any of the other xenophobic terms that people want to use to describe things in this society. And yes, I am taking a stance to say that it is xenophobic because it isn't the correct term to use. The correct term to use is undocumented immigrant. That's the correct term. That's the legal term that's being used. Just letting you guys know. So I'm not telling you that I stand with the mayor. I'm not telling you that I stand with Minneapolis PD or even Minneapolis State Police. I'm telling you that I don't stand with ICE. I don't stand for American citizens being killed recklessly. There was no attempt at anything but to end that lady's life. The way that they are antagonizing the streets, walking around with their weapons out, their untrained asses. That is not how you are not going to create a traffic stop with a Nissan Rogue with no plates, no identifying patches, nothing, with your face covered. There was no stop, police. There was no warnings. There was nothing. He literally ran up to her, jumped in her car, and that's what happened. And yeah, she could be a man-hater all she wants. She could be a man-hater all she wants. It has nothing to do with the fact that she was not given a trial for apparently being a domestic terrorist. And now we can't find out anything because she's dead. She can't be tried because she's dead. Due process has been circumvented once again. And that's my problem. My problem is you have due process of law in this country, and it is being circumvented day in and day out by ICE. They are not the purveyors of our law. They are not the ones that get to mete out all penalties and fines of our law. Our justice system is flawed, very flawed. Our justice system needs a lot of work, but this is not how it gets done. I am not going to stand for something as oppressive as this. And I hope that everyone else does their research and finds out what is constitutional and what is not. Yes, that man will be going to jail. Yes, that man will be going to prison. He broke the law and committed murder while he was in an act of official service. Read the laws. Stop just supporting things because people tell you to support them. I'm not telling you what to do. Just read the law. For everybody else, you guys have a wonderful day. I'm done dealing with this stuff today. You guys know where to find everything that you need to find. Chat333, thank you guys for sticking around. I know this is tough to deal with. I had a job to do and I did it. To everybody else, they can eat one too.
I'm the Tez. I'm the Tez.
Welcome to the Tez Down. Welcome.
I'm the Tez.
Mic check 1 2. Welcome. Welcome to the Tez Down.
Party time.